Anyone? So just give me a second, please. So just give me a second, please, Esther. Good morning. Who just arrived? Arlet, good morning. Welcome. Luisa, good morning. Welcome. Anna, good morning. Welcome. Who else?
Good morning, teacher.
Good morning, guys. Welcome to today's session. We are working on page 147, I think. Let me check. Just give me a minute to check. 140. Yes, I was right. Page 147 at the back of the book. Okay, we have 2 exercises pending. I only have here with me exercise 3, but we're also checking exercise 4. Okay, so we have no problems, no questions, no complaints. So here you have to put the words in the correct order to make sentences with reported speech. So please, Esther, go ahead. Number 1, please.
Terry asked me if I had seen you.
Okay, so Terry asked me if I
had seen
you. Okay, because we need past perfect, past participle of the verb see, so it's seen. Okay, so if I had seen you. Okay, good. Thank you, Esther. I cannot see. Carla, would you please do next?
Yes, teacher. Your boss wanted to know if you were late.
Okay, so your boss wanted to know if you were late. Okay, if you were late. Okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so good morning. Who else just arrived? Manuel, good morning. Jenny, good morning. Good to see you. We haven't seen you in a long time. Good morning, Angel. Good morning. Who else? Luisa, I don't remember if I said. Good morning, Monica. Good morning. And I think that's pretty much it. Okay, so let's see. So Carla, please. No, Carla, no. Anna, please. Number 3.
Yes, teacher. They asked me why I didn't take the job.
Okay, so good. They asked me why didn't I take the job? Okay, so guys, sorry, no. I take the job. Okay, so you see here we are dealing with a WH word question. Okay, so that's why I keep the WH word. I just do a couple of things here. Okay, good. So number 4, please. Aurelia, please.
Yes, teacher. She wants to know why you.
She wanted.
Called.
Again, please. She wanted to know.
To know you hadn't called. Why you hadn't called.
Okay, so she wanted to know why you hadn't called. Okay, so please remember wanted, porque want termina en T, entonces tengo que agregar una sílaba extra. Okay, good, thank you. Alberto, please, next. Number 5.
Yes, teacher. Your parents asked me where you were?
Exactly, where you were. Okay, so we need to go back to the way the sentence is written in order to do reported speech questions. Okay, so problems, questions, or complaints up to here, guys?
Me, teacher. The number 3. Porque es why I didn't. Bueno, didn't I?
I know, sorry. I made a mistake here. Why I didn't. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. While I was writing, I made a mistake here. Sorry. My bad. Okay, so they asked me why I didn't take the job.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry. Any other problem, question, or complaint? Arlette, I think you raised your hand.
Yes, but I had the same question that Lisa.
Okay, it was my bad. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, so I'll stop sharing this because as I said, I forgot to put the other exercise here. Just give me a minute to open my book so we can check on the other exercise. Just give me a sec, please. I need to check where the exercise is. Okay.
Teacher,
Yes.
no tenemos que hacer la parte de escenario, ¿verdad?
No, bueno, ese es más bien es como una actividad que pueden hacer ustedes por su parte y si requieren ayuda lo podemos revisar.
Ok. Sí,
just give me a second, no problem. Okay, so just give me a second so I can share with you. Okay, so this is the last part, the other exercise which I forgot to copy paste and have it ready for you guys, okay? So we're going to check it very, very, very quickly, okay? So Ricardo, would you please do number 1?
Yes, teacher. The shop assistant asked if he can help me.
Okay, so the shop assistant asked if he or she, porque no sabemos si es he o es she. Ajá, luego.
Can help me.
¿Qué pasa con el can en reported questions o reported speech? ¿Se pasa a qué?
Wait me, teacher.
Hi, Cheryl. Good morning.
Hi, teacher. Good morning.
Who else arrived that I haven't said good morning? Just give me a minute to see. I think I have said good morning to everyone. So, Ricardo, what happens to him?
Could help me.
Exactly. Entonces, the shop assistant asked if he or she could help me. ¿Ok? O si ya estamos hablando de alguien más, puede ser if she could help him or her. En caso de que la pregunta no haya sido para mí, en caso de que yo esté reportando que la pregunta se le hizo a alguien más. ¿Ok? Thank you, Ricardo. Okay, so, Angel, would you please do number 2?
Yes, teacher. The receptionist. The receptionist wanted to know why I was here.
Okay, so the receptionist wanted to know why are you here? Okay, so the receptionist wanted to know why I, puede ser también he or she, si no sabemos a quién se les hace la pregunta, was there. Okay, aquí va a depender de si estamos o no en el mismo lugar, puede ser here o puede ser there, dependiendo. Okay, good. Thank you, Angel. Let me see. Arleth, please, what about next? Number 3? No, number 3. Yes.
The tourist asked if I live in London.
The tourist asked if I lived in London. Simple past, okay? If I lived in London, okay? Good, thank you, Arlette. Jonathan, please, number 4. The police officer. Pero ahí, ¿qué pasa con el pronoun? El policía me preguntó a mí, ¿Is this your car? Entonces yo estoy reportando lo que el policía me preguntó a mí. Entonces, the police officer wanted to know if... No. Just give me a second, please, so I can. Give me a minute, okay? So just give me a minute because someone else is arriving. Just give me a second, please.
No, I wrote, teacher, but
You wrote
I
something.
put was I think that if this was my car, no?
Again, Chevel, please.
If this was my car.
Okay, so the police officer,
wanted to know if this was my car.
Officer wanted to know if this or that, porque depende de dónde estemos parados, was my car. Okay, I put it in the chat. Okay, so the police officer wanted to know if this or that was my car. Ahora también puede ser if this or that was his or her car. Okay, también puede ser dependiendo de a quién haya hecho la pregunta. Okay, entonces acuérdense que tenemos que checar siempre a quién se le está haciendo quién está reportando qué está reportando, porque entonces tenemos que cambiar pronombres u otras cosas. Okay, so good. Problems, questions, or complaints up to here, guys?
Teacher.
Yes, Alejandro.
For example, in that example, it could be, for example, the police officer wanted to know if the car was mine.
Okay, give me a minute to check because I don't remember the sentence. The police officer wanted to know if the car was mine. Yes. Yes, it's possible.
Okay, thank you.
Pero ahí estamos utilizando un pronombre posesivo, ¿no?
Yes.
Ok, entonces, nada más porque, sí, no es exactamente lo mismo, pero es algo muy parecido. Yes, it's possible.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys. So, let me see. Okay. So, when doing reported speech, remember that we need to try to be as faithful as we can to whatever is it that we are reporting. Porque estamos reportando lo que alguien dijo, entonces tenemos que mantener el mismo sentido. We need to make sense. Entonces podemos hacer, as Alejandro said, a couple of adjustments, siempre y cuando mantengamos el mismo sentido. Okay, entonces, please remember, we need to focus on subject-verb agreement. También eso es algo súper importante que no se nos puede olvidar. Siempre se nos olvida subject-verb agreement. Entonces, dependiendo del sujeto, tenemos todo lo demás. Okay, now guys, what else do we have here? So if there are no problems, no questions, no complaints, I would like to go over the last lesson of Unit 11. The last lesson of Unit 11 had to do with the study and writing skills. Just give me a second, please, to open my book on that exact same page. Entonces, I said the other day, guys, you had to work on delivering a presentation. So you watched, just give me a minute so I can share with you. You watched some extracts of 2 presentations about music and dance festival. And you were talking about, the idea was to check on the main topic of the speaker in each extract and what was your impression of the speaker's delivery of the talk. Okay, ¿por qué? Porque es lo que vamos a trabajar en esta lección. No vamos a ver los videos porque ustedes ya los revisaron. And if you haven't watched them, please watch them. Okay, pero entonces, ¿qué tenemos como resultado cuál sería el resumen de esta lección? Bueno, there are some things that you shouldn't do. Okay? No importa el tipo de presentación. Por ejemplo, you shouldn't speak too quietly so the audience can hear what you say. Okay, entonces, por eso you have to be careful with modulating your voice. Okay, you shouldn't or you mustn't read directly from your notes. Okay, ¿por qué? Porque no es correcto. Ustedes están dando una presentación. You are delivering a presentation. So therefore, you shouldn't read. Think about which kind of presentations have left an imprint on you. ¿Sí? Que les hayan dejado un buen sabor de boca. Bueno, son esas presentaciones que la persona no lee, que la persona tampoco está leyendo sus slides todo el tiempo porque ni que fuera un closed caption. Entonces, the more the person knows his or her presentation, the more effectively he can or she can delivers it, okay? Entonces, it is very important, guys, for you to give a plan of your talk, okay? To remember what are the topics, the subtopics you are going to present, and to not to put too much information in a slide, ¿sí? Porque si no la gente se distrae leyendo en vez de ponerles atención, okay? Also, be ready with your notes. No se trata de que tengan un papel de notas lleno de información que luego ya se les pierda. O sea, nada más son notitas que les ayuden, pero se tienen que preparar, ¿ok? Entonces, you see, here the presentation, well, the person is using a couple of phrases that can help you out, introduce different topics in your presentation. Y eso es lo que quiero ver en su presentación. Por ejemplo, digo, no van en este orden. Sin embargo, eso es lo que tiene las presentaciones. Por ejemplo, I have divided my talk into 3 parts. Next, I'll talk about our sponsors, or I'll talk about whatever. Finally, I'll talk about whatever. I'm going to tell you about something. I'll start by telling you about whatever. Thank you for coming to my talk, por ejemplo. Entonces, estas son las formulaic expressions that you should use when doing a presentation. Obviamente van a cambiar algunas cositas, pero ya están estas frases. Entonces, please be careful with letter D. I'm going to tell you, okay? I'm going to tell you, no, I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about es posible, pero suena mejor decir I'm going to tell you about whatever, okay? Ahora, también tienen aquí algunas cositas que ustedes tienen que tomar en cuenta. You need to have good eye contact with the audience. Aunque van a hacer un videíto, de todos modos, necesito que imaginen que están hablando con alguien, ¿ok? Explain clearly the organization of the talk. You could start your talk with a joke. You should ask questions to the audience. You should speak loudly, not at all times of the talk, but at some times, just rising and falling intonation, okay? Also, change the pace of your speech. Use slides clearly and effectively. Signal that we introduce a new point, and be happy to show happiness to answer any questions at any time during the talk. Okay? A menos que ustedes en un principio digan, responderé las preguntas al final de la plática. De otra manera, no tendría que haber problemas en contestar preguntas durante la plática. Okay? Now, also, you heard in those videos, well, especially in the last one, expressions for a presentation, ¿ok? Y estas me gustaría que también las utilizaran dentro de su plática, dentro del talk que van a dar, ¿ok? Y cada uno de estos cumple con una función, ¿ok? So, are there any problems, questions, or complaints regarding the functions of these expressions, guys? ¿O todas les quedaron claras?
No, teacher, todo bien, todo claro.
Todo claro, ¿ok? Entonces, just give me a minute, please, to share something with you, to kind of like as a brief summary. Just give me a sec, please. Entonces, there are a couple of phrases besides the ones that I shared with you, well, that we just discussed. We also have certain linkers that may help you, ¿ok? Los puse aquí nada más porque les pueden servir tanto para cuando hablan como para cuando escriben, aunque se les llamen reading linkers. Y también tienen making generalizations, que son frases que tienen un montón, cuya función es making generalizations. ¿Por qué? Porque normalmente cuando hacemos algo formal, ya sea escrito o una presentación formal, even though they are, just give me a second, please. Something is ringing and I don't know what's ringing. Okay, guys. So as I was saying, you may have some words called or expressions called reading linkers, pero no nada más utilizan en la escritura, sino también se pueden utilizar de manera hablada. Y también hay unas frasecitas por ahí que nos sirven para hacer making generalizations. ¿Por qué? But the thing is that when dealing with formal language, we have been talking about different registers, neutral, formal, and informal. These are formal talks. Entonces, o formal writing. Entonces, la idea es que los puedan utilizar tanto de forma escrita, de forma hablada, but I want you to understand that when dealing with formal language, we usually don't express our opinion. Normalmente utilizamos estas frases que les llamamos making generalizations. ¿Ok? Entonces quiero que también estén muy acostumbrados a que las van a encontrar por ahí. Por ejemplo, overall the festival was highly successful. Most of the performers were excellent. People attending were mainly families. However, there were people of all ages and a large number from whatever. Entonces, the majority were singers. Tienen estas frasecitas que les ayudan a hablar de cosas en general, que no dicen cantidades exactas. Por ejemplo, se pueden dar cuenta que no utilizamos cantidades exactas, sino simplemente decimos pues, mucha gente. Okay? We have perhaps the highlight of there were many, blah, blah, blah. On the whole, some people, a large number of, in general, most of them. So I would like you to try to use them in your oral presentation, okay? And then you also have, for example, words like alternatively, on the contrary, provided that, in addition, similarly, nevertheless, in order to, and therefore. And they have a specific function of the language, okay? So try to use them to make your language more formal. Okay, so you are doing a presentation similarly to the one you have in your books, well, in the one you listen to, okay? So, sorry guys. So, just give me a minute because I have instructions in the book, okay? So, you are not going to do this in pairs. You're going to do this individual, okay? Pero aunque las instrucciones estén en pareja, ustedes lo van a hacer de manera individual, okay? Entonces, you are an organizer of a street festival. No me importa el festival, lo pueden inventar o puede ser uno que ya exista, ¿ok? Pero tienen que ser cuidadosos con lo que van a escribir. With people who perform their acts in the street to passers-by in the area where you live. So you could talk about a fair, you could talk about a festival. No sé si quiere hablarme, por ejemplo, del desfile que hay de Día de Muertos que se celebra cada año, puede ser, o de alguna feria que es, no sé, la feria del caballo, la feria del mole, el festival del mole, no sé cómo se llamen, lo pueden hacer, ¿ok? But you have to be careful to explain the location, where is it going to take place, the history of the festival, ¿ok? Desde cuándo se ha hecho y por qué se hace, the dates, the time, the performers the event will have or hold, the special event, hay algo así como que va a ser algo característico de ese evento, the advertising, cómo se va a presentar, cómo se va a difundir, perdón, el festival, advantages to sponsors, and other information, other special events, food security, whatever you think is necessary or important. Pero siguiendo el esquema del videíto que ya vieron en el principio de la unidad, del último, del 11.3, del que está correcto. ¿Ok? Entonces, problems, questions, or complaints up to here?
Teacher, entonces va a ser... ay, perdón. Vamos a tener que hacer la presentación en base a los datos que están aquí en el papelito.
No, a los que ustedes quieran. Bueno, sí, van a elegir un festival, pues.
Ajá.
Sí, que contenga información como esta, pues.
Okay. Sí,
entonces, aquí lo importante del video es que ¿qué voy a estar revisando en el video? Bueno, voy a estar revisando todo lo que ya platicamos, que tengan un buen eye contact, que utilizan, creo que organizaron bien su plática, que utilizan estas frases para organizar bien su plática, etc. Entonces, otra cosa bien importante y que creo que lo he estado como repitiendo mucho a lo largo del semestre. Hay frases que ya están. Ustedes nada más tienen que cambiar cierta información, por eso se le llaman formulaic expressions, porque el inglés, acuérdense que para ciertas cosas es muy estructurado. Es decir, como las cartas y estas expresiones que ya están, que no se trata de que ustedes me inventen cosas. Entonces, no es que no esté permitiendo ¿cómo se llama? Su inspiración y me hagan cosas creativas. No, lo creativo va a estar en ese festival que ustedes van a presentar, pero traten de seguir como los lineamientos que se les están indicando, especialmente algo muy similar al video 11.3 que ustedes ya revisaron, porque eso es lo que voy a revisar, que digan algo como I'm going to tell you about our plans for whatever festival. The festival will take place from this date to whatever date. We will have, I'll divide my talk into 3 parts. O sea, eso es lo que necesito, que ustedes me demuestren que organizaron y prepararon su talk. ¿Ok? Por eso la instrucción aquí, por eso el nombre de esta lección es Delivering a Presentation. En realidad, les voy a ser honesta, no me importa que me inventen la información, que ustedes se inventen un festival, no me importaría. O que usaran un festival que ya conocemos, pero que ustedes le cambien cierta información, tampoco me importaría. Pero lo que sí quiero es que organicen esa información, que sea lógico, información que ustedes van a presentar. ¿Ok? Entonces, por ejemplo, que empiecen bien su plática, que la terminen bien, que muestren entusiasmo, todas esas cosas son las que me gustaría ver en su videíto. ¿Ok? Entonces, let me see. Okay. This is, as I said, going to be the final activity, the final task of Unit 11, but it will also be your final speaking exam. Tiene 2 funciones. Entonces, por eso voy a ser mucho más estricta con este videíto que con otras actividades, porque esta va a ocupar el lugar de la unidad final de speaking. ¿Ok? Ahora, ¿cómo lo vamos a hacer? Les voy a dar un link para que lo suban a Flipgrid. ¿Por qué me gustaría que lo subieran? ¿Han utilizado Flipgrid? ¿Tipo? ¿O no?
No, teacher.
No.
Denme un minutito para que les enseñe. Les voy a enseñar algo que no tiene que ver con este grupo, porque ahorita no me acuerdo cuál es el link, pero denme un minutito. Bueno, ahorita lo busco y les enseño. Pero bueno, el punto es que Flipgrid es una aplicación donde ustedes suben su videíto. ¿Ok? Y entonces, por eso lo pueden practicar y demás, grabar muchas veces, y cuando ya tengan su versión que quieran subir, la van a poner. No se preocupen tanto por la aplicación, lo que quiero que se preocupen es porque la presentación quede bien. Ahora, due date. Los exámenes finales empiezan el día 29 de noviembre. Es decir, tenemos una semana y luego empiezan los exámenes. Yo nada más tengo una semana para revisar los videos. Entonces, bueno, y revisar videos en los exámenes de lengua, etcétera, etcétera, etcétera. Entonces, yo preferiría que si me lo pudieran entregar el viernes 26, estaría bien. Más tardar el lunes 29, ¿sí? Porque así yo ya puedo empezar a revisar y puedo hacer comentarios. ¿Ok? Entonces, eso es lo que vamos a hacer. ¿Ok? Yo les voy a dar el link, los voy a poner en Edmodo y les voy a decir, hagan clic aquí. Déjenme ver si puedo abrirlo ahorita. Les voy a poner algo como lo siguiente. Just give me a second. No, this is not the one, sorry. Just give me a second, please. As I said, this is an assignment from another group, okay? But something like this I'm going to do with you guys. Okay, so I'm going to provide you with a Flipgrid code so you can upload your video and with the instructions in there. Entonces aparece un código o algo como esto y entonces ustedes le dan clic a ese link, okay, y no deberían de tener ningún problema. Si tienen una cuenta de Google, pueden accesar rápidamente y bueno, en este caso subirían a Flipgrid y tendrían algo como lo que sigue. Just give me a second, please. Something like this. Entonces, al final les aparece aquí add a video o algo así. Ay, no. Sorry, no. Les aparece como un signito de más y ustedes pueden subir su videito. Aquí no, porque como yo soy la teacher, no aparece así, pero aquí al final aparece luego un iconito con más y ustedes pueden subir su video. ¿Ok?
Teacher, entonces, este programa también se puede desde el teléfono.
Híjole, no sé.
Sí se puede.
Sí.
No sé si se pueda grabar. Sí los puedo ver, pero yo no sé si se pueda grabar.
Yo lo he usado en el teléfono y sí se puede, maestra.
Sí, ok. Bueno, entonces ahí tienen una respuesta. Ok, entonces, así van a ir subiendo sus videitos. Ok. Yo les voy a pasar el link cuando lo tenga listo. Pero aquí lo más importante no es que se me preocupen más que en prepararse ahorita para subir su videito. ¿Ok? No lo voy a subir hoy, pero en algunos de estos días lo voy a subir y necesito que lo tengan como ya listo que van a poner. Eso es lo importante, ¿ok? Entonces, algo, recuerden, muy similar al video 11.3, porque es así como, chequen qué slides van a poner, etcétera, etcétera. Por ejemplo, es que ahorita no me acuerdo cuál, pero creo que este quedó bastante decente. Ahorita les enseño más o menos. Esta es otra cosa.
This film is somewhat peculiar because there are 7 versions due to the conflict of vision, prove it, special effects, and sound. It was released in 2007. Unfortunately, Philip K. Dick was unable to see the premiere of the film based on his...
Thank you. Arlette, please, what about question number 2? Which story or stories involve taking possessions?
I wrote number 1.
Number 1, no, because here we're talking about money. Possessions is something else but money. Posesiones son tu celular, tu cartera, tu carro, esos son posesiones.
Number 3 and 5.
Okay, so number 3, it says stealing the car. Entonces sí, involucra una posesión, okay? Number 5 says they try to steal a manual car. Yes, so involved a possession. And also story number 2, okay? Story number 2 says a t-shirt stolen from the crime scene. Entonces no solamente robó, también robó una playera, okay? Good, thank you. So stories 2, 3, and 5, okay? Now, which story or stories involved automobiles? Alejandro, please.
The 3 and 5?
Exactly, 3 and 5 for the reason we just mentioned. Okay, good. Thank you, Alejandro. Jenny Gobea, please, what about the following question? Which story or stories involve damaging property? Manuel, can you help here, please?
Yes, I think there were the stories number 2 and number 4.
Number 2, you are right, because after smashing the building, okay, so that word gives us a hint, but I think this is it, because which was the other you mentioned?
Number 4, but I'm not sure.
Number 4, no, nothing happened here. Acuérdense que damaging property quiere decir que hacen algo a la propiedad, que chocan y se rompe, como en este caso, smashing the building. Okay? So, problems, questions, or complaints up to here, guys? Okay, so, Jonathan, which was your favorite story? From these 7, which was your favorite one? What you found the most amusing, the funniest, the most entertaining one? In your opinion? No, but I'm talking about this list you have here. From these 7 crimes, which was the most interesting, the funniest, the dumbest? The police in California. Okay, good. So you see, guys, now what we're going to do is that we are going to infer emotions. Remember that inferring means reading between the lines. okay? So how do you think the people highlighted in bold in the text felt, okay? So you have adjectives like worried, angry, surprised, amused, frightened, and confused, okay? So are there any problems, questions, or complaints regarding the meaning of these adjectives?
No, teacher.
Good. So please remember that we are inferring emotions. Estamos leyendo entre líneas porque el texto no nos los está diciendo, pero sí nos podemos imaginar por lo que leemos how is that these people might have felt. For example, the assistant. How do you think, Luisa Gutierrez, the assistant felt? The assistant from the first story felt. How do you think she felt?
The assistant felt maybe worried.
Why do you think she felt worried?
Because she called the police because it's the call is no raro.
Okay, it sounded weird.
It's all
so you think worried, okay? So Luis Hernandez, how about you? Do you agree that the assistant was worried? Or do you feel she was feeling differently? Cheryl, what do you think?
Hi, teacher, sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, how do you think the assistant felt? Worried, angry, surprised, amused, frightened, or confused?
I think confused and also how do you say asustada? Sorry.
Frightened.
Frightened, yes, like like amenaza or something like that.
Okay, that's a possibility. There are no right answers for this exercise. So, however, I want you to remember that we are reading between the lines. Entonces, por eso estamos infiriendo, porque el texto no me lo está diciendo, pero yo me lo puedo imaginar. Look at the scene. In Ontario, Canada, police charged Daniel Glenn with robbing a convenience store. And wisely, he telephoned ahead to ask the sales assistant how much money was in the cash register. The assistant called the police who arrested Glenn nearby. What's the funny part of this story? The guy called to see how much money was in the cash register. Pues para ver si valía la pena o no robar. Entonces, to my point of view, I think the assistant was feeling surprised and amused. Porque ¿quién llama para saber cuánto dinero hay para ver si me le conviene o no robar? Entonces, más que asustada, yo creo que más bien ella estaba sorprendida, or as I said, amused. Please remember that when you feel amused, is that that is when you find something funny and entertaining. O sea, yo pensaría, pues qué idiota, ¿cómo se le ocurre llamarme para preguntar cuánto dinero hay? Pues obvio que voy a llamar a la policía.
Teacher?
Okay? Yes.
Yes, I agree, but I think that if you don't feel frightened, you don't call the police, no? Well, in my case, if someone if I know that someone could stole my store, I feel nervous and I don't know. I think that.
Yes, that's true. Yes, that's true. What I'm trying to say is that given the circumstance, that's why she called the police. Más que miedo, quizá, yo lo que pienso es que ella pensó, solo a quién se le ocurre hacer lo que hizo este tarado. Okay? Más que asustada. I'm not saying that your answers are wrong. What I'm saying is that given the circumstances, o sea, si nos ponemos a pensar en una situación como esa, imagine you work in a store y alguien te habla para preguntarte, oye, Shevel, ¿cuánto dinero hay en la caja? Y tú así como, pues, ¿para qué querrías saber a alguien? Obviamente me quiere robar, ¿no? Pero más que miedo, la cuestión es, ¿a quién caramba se le ocurriría llamar para preguntar? O sea, alguien que está bien mal de la cabeza. Si te interesa robar, llegas y robas. Pues no sé si me explico.
Sí.
So I think it has to do more with that, with the circumstance we have. Okay? Now, you have the second story. Okay? The second story, we're talking here about Peter Addison. Okay? So who's Peter Addison? Peter Addison is a brainless 18 years old who vandalized a children's campsite building. Entonces, after smashing the building, he chose to write, Peter Addison was here on the wall in black marker pen. When the police tracked him down, he was also wearing a t-shirt stolen from the crime scene, proving the police they had the right man. So how do you think, Jennifer, how do you think, Jennifer, that Peter Addison felt? Jennifer Martinez, please.
I don't know, but because he wrote his name, so it was obvious that the police were going to catch him. And maybe he was amused that they actually catch him. Like, oh, look, like they did it, like it all was a game for him.
Okay.
Because, assuming that he's not an idiot. He did it on purpose. But if it wasn't the case, maybe he will feel surprised. Okay.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. That he's so dumb. He was so dumb to write his name. Okay, so probably he's really brainless. And the thing is that he probably felt surprised. I think he could have felt angry for being caught. I don't know, maybe. Okay, thank you. Esther, how about in story number 3, the police in California? How do you think the police felt?
I think the police California was felt.
The police in California felt
angry. I think
felt angry. Why angry?
Because the Robert they have 2 crimes, or he was guilty of 2 crimes.
But you see, you need to read between the lines, okay? So please read the story out loud, Esther. Read the story out loud. Yes.
Okay. Police in California charged a tough charge. 37 years old, San Francisco. Man with stealing.
Wait. Acuérdense del chunking. San Francisco man. Porque si yo leo San Francisco o San Francisco man, no se entiende. Entonces, police in California charged a 37-year-old San Francisco man. How was he called? With stealing a Lexus SUV. Please go on.
Unfortunately, after stealing the car, he chose to drive it to court. On the same day, a jury had to decide if they should convict him of another related car theft charge. They found him guilty of both crimes.
So do you understand the story now? This guy stole a car and then he drove to court in the same car he had stolen. Pues, ¿cómo crees que lo vio la policía? ¿Cómo crees que se sintió la policía de que el sonso que robó el carro llegó con el mismo carro que robó? If you were
angry,
would you feel angry?
The police, yes, because they think that el que robó es como descarado.
Pero entonces yo pienso pues que la sensación no sería de enojo, la sensación sería de, no inventes, ¿qué onda con este individuo? Entonces quizá no sea enojo, quizá sea amusement. Que diga uno, híjole, no manches, ahora solo faltaba eso. ¿Qué más podría pasar? Pues que este individuo llegara con el auto que se robó. Entonces, más que enojado, yo más bien pienso que estarían amused. ¿Ok? As I said, there are no right answers, but you need to justify your answers. ¿Okay? Entonces, hay que ponernos en el lugar de la persona. ¿Ok? Good. Carla, please, how about the armed robber in story 4? How do you think he felt?
I think the angry.
Angry? Okay,
Yes.
would you please read the story out loud?
Yes. In Vancouver, Canada, an armed robber helped up a petrol station. The
half-witted.
White? Is that?
The half-witted.
Witted. Thank you. 22 years old was chased by the police after the hold-up. Got lost and so stopped at a petrol station to ask for directions. It was the one he had just robbed.
So how do you think the robber felt? Ya después de que leímos la historia, roba la estación roba la gasolinera, se pierde y se pierde y entonces regresa al mismo lugar donde robó a pedir instrucciones. ¿Cómo crees que se sintió el ladrón?
Confused?
Exactly. Surprised and confused. Okay, how on earth have I come to the same place that I just robbed to ask for directions? Okay, so that's why, you see guys, we need to read between the lines, porque en ningún momento aquí dice que el ladrón se sintió ni sorprendido ni confundido, pero lo adivino por la situación en que me están describiendo. Okay, thank you. Anna, please, how about two useless car thieves? How do you think these people felt after committing the crime? Anna, are you here? Is Anna here? I cannot see. No. Alberto, can you help, please?
Yes, teacher. What story?
Number five.
Oh, well, I bet that they kind of feel how do you say impotente?
Well, you can only use worried, angry, surprised, amused, frightened, or confused.
I think they were frightened and confused, maybe.
Why frightened?
Because I think that when you are doing a crime or something illegal, you have this rush about thinking that you could be arrested. So they couldn't understand how to drive this car, and they felt frightened. They felt fear.
Well, I think it depends. This is something we're going to work on the following lesson. The reason behind people stealing or committing crimes. Okay, so you see, I guess in my own personal opinion, I guess most people who commit crimes feel excited about committing the crime. Sí, lo hacen como más como una aventura, algunas personas, que en realidad tener un miedo, porque muchas personas incluso creen que jamás los van a atrapar. But you see, here the problem was that they couldn't drive the car because it was a manual car. Okay, so you see, in my own opinion, I think the car thieves felt, as you said, confused, but more than frightened, I think they felt angry because they never thought that was going to be a problem.
Yes.
That's what I think, okay? But as I said, there are no right answers, okay?
Thank you.
Ricardo, please, what about in story number 6? How do you think the cashier felt?
Maybe confused.
Why? What do you think he or she felt confused? Would you please read the story, Ricardo?
Yes. An inept criminal in Germany was... What?
An inept criminal.
An inept criminal in Germany was sent to hell by a judge from 4 years after trying to rob a bank. The problem was he couldn't see out of the mask he was wearing, so he left it to demand money from the cashier. This allowed the police to identify him.
Okay, be careful, please. Jail is the correct pronunciation, so he was sent to jail. And then he couldn't see out the mask he was wearing, so he lifted it. Lift termina en T, entonces necesitamos agregar una sílaba extra. So he lifted it to demand money from the cashier. This allowed, con terminación de D, the police to identify him. Entonces, ¿cómo crees que se sintió la cajera? Si ves a un ladrón enfrente de ti, que no ve, se quita la máscara para decirme que quiere dinero, entonces, ¿cómo te sentirías tú?
Confused?
It could be confused, yes. Anything else?
Surprised?
It could be surprised, yes. And I also think amused, porque ¿para qué lleva un ladrón una máscara? Pues para que no lo identifiquen, ¿no? Pero la máscara no le funcionó, entonces la tuvo que levantar para poderme robar y lo identificamos, entonces that's why I would feel amused, okay? But as I said, these are just some possibilities, okay? And the last one, thank you. And the last one, Angel, please. How do you think the police felt in this story?
I think amused because
Why?
one of the robbers forgot to log out his Facebook account. So
yes, that's the funny part of the story, right?
Yes.
Imagine that situation, okay? So you see, you need to be dumb enough for something like this to happen to you, okay? Good, guys. Thank you very much. So you see, here we're dealing with different emotions, but as I said before, we are inferring them from the reading. Entonces, okay, para que podamos inferir algo, necesitamos entender algo. Entonces, that's why it is important to read. Entonces, mi sugerencia es que practiquen así. Traten de leer algo, estos textos incluso en voz alta, y vean qué pasaría si ustedes hacen las pausas en diferentes lugares. Ahora, ojo también, porque no es lo mismo una pausa por una coma que una pausa por chunking words. Acuérdense que chunking words se refiere a las ideas, es decir, las ideas que ciertas palabras, al ponerlas juntas, generan. Por ejemplo, aquí dice, in Ontario, Canadá. Entonces aquí porque hay comas sí tengo que hacer las pausas, pero no, hay otros lugares donde no necesariamente hay comas, pero por ejemplo, police charge Daniel Glenn. Daniel Glenn pues tiene que ir junto porque es un nombre. A convenience store tiene que ir junto porque A le pertenece a store y tienen un adjetivo ahí además que quiere decir, pero un sustantivo que está funcionando como adjetivo que me está diciendo qué tipo de tienda es. Entonces, a convenience store is a chunk. No puedo decir a o a convenience store, es a convenience store. Entonces practiquen estos chunks porque eso les va a ayudar a entender mejor las palabras y las ideas en un texto. Okay? Now, then we have another vocabulary exercise where you had to complete the word web with words from the text. Entonces vean cómo aquí estamos hablando de semantic webs. So crime is the main word. So people, we have 5 categories here. Hay muchas más, pero estas son las que tenemos aquí primero, ¿ok? Entonces, you have crime, you have people connected to law and order, pero también tenemos people who break the law. Entonces, relacionado con crimen tenemos 2 kinds of words, 2 kinds of people. People connected to law and order and people who break the law. Entonces, people connected to law and order, Manuel, please, which are the words you put?
I wrote jury, judge, and police.
Exactly, police. Okay, acuérdense que el estrés es en la primera sílaba, entonces es police, no police, sino, perdón, en la segunda sílaba, police. Okay, entonces, judge, jury, and police. These are the people connected to law and order. Okay, thank you. Arlette, please, what about people who break the law?
Criminal, robber, and thief.
Thieves. Acuérdense de la TH interdental. Thieves. Okay. Thieves is the plural of thief. Entonces, thieves is an irregular plural. Entonces tenemos criminal, robber, and thieves. Those are the people who break the law. Todas estas palabras son sustantivos. Then tenemos places connected to law and order. ¿Ok? Entonces, ¿qué lugares serían esos? Please, Alejandro. Alejandro, I think your mic is up. Alejandro is not here. Okay, so Manuel, would you please help here, please? Is Manuel here?
Yes, I wrote crime scene and jail.
Okay, you see, here we're dealing with places connected to law and order. Entonces, sí, jail is connected to law and order, pero la otra no es crime scene. There is another place connected to, before going to jail, where is it that robbers are taken or criminals are taken?
Is courts?
Exactly. So first they are taken to court and then some of them are taken to jail. Okay, thank you, Manuel. Jonathan, please, verbs connected to law and order. Jonathan, your mic is off. Alejandro?
Yes, teacher. It could be arrested.
Okay. Any other?
Charge.
Okay.
Convict.
Convict, and?
Provide.
Prove. Proof es the verb. Acuérdense que estamos hablando de verbos. Entonces, el primer verbo es to charge. Okay. So criminals are charged of a crime they have committed. Okay. Then they are arrested, or first they are arrested and then they are charged. Okay. And then they have to be proven to have committed a crime. Entonces, prove. Okay. And then the other verb is convict. Ya cuando los mandan a la cárcel, entonces ya el verbo es convict. Okay. Good. Then we have another list which has to do with verbs connected to crime. Okay. So, Luisa Gutierrez, can you help here, please?
Yes, teacher. Verbs connect to the crime, no?
Connected to crime.
Connected to crime. Okay. It's a rob, smuggle, and vandalism.
Is rob?
Smuggle.
Smuggle, hay una mejor que smuggle porque smuggle tiene diferentes posibilidades de significado.
Okay.
Pero más bien, creo del texto, ¿qué otra palabra hay?
Okay. I don't see you.
Okay, which was the other word? Which were the other words you mentioned? ¿Qué otras me diste al principio?
Vandalism.
Vandalize.
Vandalize, sorry.
Vandalize.
Rob and the smuggle, but it's not correct. But I don't know.
Es que tendría que ser smuggle para que sea verbo. Pero en realidad hay una que es mejor, que es steal. Es que sí hay diferencia entre smuggling y steal.
¿En dónde está steal? Que no lo veo.
Steal. Let me see. Just give me a second.
Stealing, I think, in the third.
The third.
Yes, stealing, with stealing.
With stealing a Lexus SUV.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, guys. So now, problems, questions, or complaints regarding vocabulary is here. Okay. Now, the second part, the following exercise is pretty important because we're still working with vocabulary. Okay, so the question is, what is the author's opinion of the criminals? Jennifer Hernandez, please, what do you think is the author's opinion of the criminals?
Me? It's just, I believe the other Jenny is Jenny Gobea, and I'm Jennifer Martinez.
No, I said, okay, Jennifer, please, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Well, that they are basically brainless.
How do you know? Which were the words the author used?
Brainless, daft, half-witted, foolish, inept, and useless.
Okay, so yes, we have brainless here. You see, brainless is an adjective. Less means having no, so having no brain. Okay, so brainless, 18-year-old Peter Addison. That's the first. Okay, and which was the other you mentioned, Jennifer?
In the third paragraph, it says daft.
Yes, a daft. Again, here, the word daft is working as an adjective, okay? A daft 37-year-old San Francisco man. Okay, good. That's the second word. Which any other word, Jennifer?
Just in the fourth paragraph, it says the half-witted. Witted.
Exactly, half-witted. Half-witted es lo que diríamos algo muy similar a lo que diríamos en español, que alguien no tiene ni dos dedos de frente. O sea, no es la traducción, pero es una equivalencia, ¿ok? So, half-witted quiere decir que ni siquiera tiene dos dedos de frente de inteligente, pues, ¿no? Ok. Yeah. Any other half-witted? Besides half-witted, sorry?
Yeah, in the fifth paragraph, it says useless, two useless guardians. And the sixth paragraph, it says an inept criminal. And in the seventh paragraph, it says two foolish criminals.
Okay, so the word foolish, okay? So you see, guys, well, and then at the beginning of the article, they are using the word dumb, okay? So dumb is also an adjective to describe a person who is not intelligent or else. So you see, dumb, the actual meaning of dumb is stupid. Acuérdense que en inglés estúpido no es tan fuerte como en español. La connotación es como decir tonto, pues, ¿no? Entonces, por eso es que lo utilizan en un texto como este. Obviamente también es muy informal y básicamente es American English more than British English. British English, we use dumb. And also because dumb means unable to speak. Long time ago, people who were unable to speak, people thought these people were unable to speak because they were dumb. No sabían que era porque era una cuestión del oído, que estaban sordos, entonces por eso no podían hablar. Sí, pensaban que más bien era gente tonta. ¿Okay? Por eso se les dice dumb. Por eso tienen ahí la caricatura de Dumbo, ¿se acuerdan? Porque la gente pensaba que era tonto, que era estúpido. ¿Okay? Pero por esta razón que les estoy explicando. ¿Okay? Entonces, all of these, well, and daft, which is the one you have in... Sorry, guys. Okay, change page. Okay, daft, which is on which paragraph? Okay, over here. Daft is also very informal, but daft is British English. Entonces, acuérdense que dumb is American English, daft, British English. Okay, and they have more or less the same meaning. All of these words are more or less synonyms. Tienen algunas diferencias muy pequeñitas, pero en realidad en algunos contextos como ahorita los podemos utilizar. Okay, so thank you, Jennifer. So Luisa Hernandez, the next question. Do you think all the criminals deserve a punishment? If so, what kind of punishment do you think they should have? Cheryl, can you help here?
Yes, teacher. I think that yes. Well, I don't know if the guy that calls needs a punishment, but I think that all need because you are taking things that are not yours, and also yeah, it's a crime. So, but maybe not a punishment in a level, in a high level, maybe just like a ¿cómo le dicen en español?
A crime, but it could be a minor crime, right?
Exactly. So maybe the punishment could be not level, not in a high level, maybe less, like una multa o no lo sé, algo así.
Fine. Okay, guys. Sorry to interrupt, but I just realized it's very late y nadie me dijo que ya era más de la 1. Yo aquí bien emocionada hablando. Entonces, I apologize for this. Please, guys, keep working on this lesson. Especialmente me gustaría que buscaran los significados de estas palabras para que las podamos discutir en la siguiente clase. So, if there are problems, no questions, no complaints, please, guys, see you on Friday. Acuérdense que ya no vamos a dividir la clase. Nos vemos todos los siguientes clases que nos pasen falta. Okay? Sorry, my apologies. See you guys on Friday.
See you, teacher.
See you, teacher. Thank you. See you.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys. Sorry. Don't worry. Just please catch up, okay? Okay. When you send another one, right? No. As long as you understand what the problem is. ¿Ok? Sí, yo sé que están muy ocupados, yo sé que tienen muchas cosas que hacer, pero lo que sí necesito es que nada más pongan atención a los comentarios para que los puedan resolver para futuros ejercicios. ¿Ok? Okay, I'll check on it. Okay. Bye. See you. Bye. Acá sus videitos. Ok. Entonces lo que necesito es que se preocupen en organizar bien la información que van a presentar. Es lo que quiero ver en el videito. Ok.
Teacher.
Yes.
And what will be the duration of the video?
Pues depende de lo que vayan a hablar. Eso va a depender de su información. Yo los voy a dejar abierto como para 5 minutos, pero ustedes también tienen que pensar en cómo van a organizar esa información. No me importa la extensión, me importa que tengan los elementos de los que estamos hablando.
Ok. Thank you.
Es decir, necesito, como les digo, que me digan, I've divided my talk into 3 parts. First, I'll talk about whatever, then I'll talk about whatever, and finally, I'm going to talk about whatever. So let's start with the first topic. Okay? Es lo que quiero que me demuestren que organizaron bien su información y que se prepararon bien para la presentation. Okay? As I said, I don't want people reading. Y no porque me moleste que lean, sino porque me demuestra que no se prepararon. Y eso también implica la pronunciación de ciertas palabras. Si van a escoger un festival bien complicado de pronunciar, averigüen cómo se pronuncia. Por eso, por ejemplo, el festival, ¿cómo se llama? Un día me hicieron el festival sobre el festival de la cerveza en Alemania. Y
¿Oktoberfest?
Del Oktoberfest, pero no me dijeron Oktoberfest, le pusieron el nombre en alemán, haz de cuenta, ¿no? Y yo no sé alemán, para mí no sé cómo se pronuncia el alemán, pero de todos modos, o sea, si van a utilizar ese tipo de festivales, averígüense cómo se pronuncia, busquen, o sea, beer, pues ya saben, hay que ver cómo se pronuncia beer, o sea, ciertas cosas, ciertas palabras que van en ese contexto tienen que checar si se la están pronunciando de manera adecuada o no. Okay, entonces, es una investigación bastante compleja, por eso necesito que le echen ganitas y por eso les estoy avisando con tiempo para que trabajen eso. Y también necesito que lo empiecen a trabajar porque no es lo único que vamos a hacer, van a hacer un writing. Entonces, también por eso para que no se les junten las cosas al final. ¿Ok? Entonces, algo así. Déjenme ver si para el final de la clase puedo encontrar un videito de algunos de mis grupos anteriores para ver si les puedo enseñar cómo quedó. ¿Ok? Alguno que no esté, que esté bastante mejorcito. ¿Ok? Now, Esa es una cosa. Ahora, la siguiente parte de la unidad tiene que ver con write a formal report, okay, a short formal report. Yes, Arlet?
Entonces en el video vamos a aparecer nosotros que nos enseñó o nosotros y como slides y puntos como muy importantes.
Whatever you want.
Sí.
Pero lo que quiero que me demuestre, yo no sé qué tan hábiles son ustedes para la tecnología, entonces tampoco los quiero poner a parir chayotes, ¿ok? Tampoco se trata de eso. Pero lo que yo más bien quiero que me demuestren es que ustedes conocen el tema. O sea, por las slides, no se preocupen tanto. Yo puedo entender, teacher, es que yo no sé cómo ponerle un slide a mi presentación, no sé cómo hacerlo, lo puedo entender. Sí, pero ustedes van a buscar la manera de... Pero ustedes son muy hábiles para muchas cosas. Tuve un videito que me encantó porque la persona era muy buena dibujando y me hizo unos dibujos en hojas así recicladas o yo qué sé, y las fue pasando enfrente. Entonces estaba hablando la persona y me decía, de este festival, y le imprimí algunas fotitos, entonces las iba pasando así. Lo que quiero es que me demuestren que conocen del tema. O sea, no porque tengan muy bonitas slides, no porque tengan el mejor video del mundo mundial, esa va a ser la calificación más alta. La calificación es individual para empezar, pero tiene que ver con su manejo del tema. Por eso, les sugiero, elijan un festival que ustedes ya conozcan, o si van a inventar un festival, piensen en todos los elementos del festival. ¿Ok? ¿Por qué? Porque miren, esto es más o menos lo que yo voy a estar revisando, agregándole algunas otras cositas, pues, pero más o menos es eye contact with the audience, stated the purpose of the talk. Eso es súper importante. No puede haber una plática, una presentación en la que ustedes no me digan which is the purpose. ¿Ok? How it was organized. ¿Ok? También, si alguien me presenta, esta presentación es un festival X, pero no me dice ni cómo organizó su plática, ni qué información va a presentar, no está bien. ¿Ok? Spoke clearly. That means not too loud or soft. Spoke at a good pace. That means not too fast or too slow. And body language, confident, relaxed, no sign of nerves. And if the person used slides or visual aids or not. Okay? Entonces aquí la instrucción dice, prepare a short talk, 5 minutes at the top, about a festival or event you have been to or regularly go to. Work in small groups and deliver your talk to the rest of the group. Bueno, lo vamos a hacer en Flipgrid para que todo el mundo los vea, ya una vez que los hayan subido. Ahora, aquí ojo, mucho ojo, porque this is an event you regularly go, acuérdense que mucha de la información que ustedes la van a presentar va a ser en presente simple, porque son facts. This event usually takes place on November, okay? People usually pay a fee of whatever. Entonces, es lo que quiero también el uso de la lengua, okay? So, problems, questions, or complaints up to here?
No, teacher.
Good. Okay, guys.
Perdón. Sí. ¿A dónde lo tenemos que subir? Es que mi internet está fallando y ya no escuché eso.
Lo van a subir en Flipgrid. Yo los voy a poner en el modo, la cuenta, y ustedes lo van a poner ahí en Flipgrid. ¿Ok?
Ok, teacher.
Acuérdense que due date es November 26 or around November 26. The due date will be November 29, which is a Monday. ¿Sí? Para que ya después ya me pueda quedar revisando nada más videitos, ¿ok? Entonces, la siguiente parte que tiene que ver con a short formal report, guys, it's very important too. I'm not going to ask you to write a formal report. No lo vamos a hacer porque ya se nos juntó la chamba, pero aquí sí quiero que revisemos rapidito. Please, guys. Usually we write a report about an event we went. Y entonces el evento puede ser un festival, como en este caso, puede ser a presentation, puede ser about anything, ¿ok? Entonces, usually, we need to organize the report according to whatever information we saw. Entonces, por eso aquí tienen organizado un texto y en este caso no lo hemos revisado, pero vean cómo ustedes tienen que checar cómo está organizado el texto. So you have things like the introduction, a part is talking about the audiences, the performers, the references. So since you're writing a report, you need to write the report. You need to organize the information you are going to report. Entonces, por ejemplo, aquí dice, overall, because we use overall to express a general impression, okay? The festival was highly successful, attracting over 50,000 people. So you see, this is the introductory paragraph. ¿Okay? Y entonces hay una impresión general, así como hicieron con el reporte anterior. So hay diferentes tipos de reporte. If you realize what we have been doing over this semester is working with different kinds of reports, porque hay muchos tipos de reporte. Lo primordial es organize your information. Another important aspect of this report, again, is that they are not asking you for your information. That's why we use the generalization phrases I already went through before. Okay? Entonces, overall, the festival was highly successful. Most of the performers were excellent. No solamente nos sirven para hablar, sino también nos sirven para escribir. Okay? Porque de alguna manera expresamos nuestra opinión, pero no es tan clara. No es lo mismo decir, in my opinion, there were lots of people, algo como most of the people, o there was a lot of people, y entonces se generaliza como algo que todo el mundo vio, no solamente ustedes. Okay? So, problems, questions, or complaints regarding, just give me a second, please. Sorry, guys. Okay, so where was I? Okay, so problems, questions, or complaints regarding reports. So you see, guys, it is very different writing a report than writing an essay. Entonces, los reportes no nos dan mucho pie para la inspiración y para que inventemos muchas cosas. Ya hay frases que tenemos que usar y eso es lo que necesito que les quede como muy claro. ¿Sí? But in the end, the most important thing is to make sense. Okay? So now, therefore, if there are no problems, no questions, no complaints, we are going to change to the following unit, which is unit 12. Okay? Just give me a minute, please, to gather my stuff and change the whole thing. Okay? So, give me a minute, please. Just give me a second. So the following unit is entitled Crime. And as I said before, I think it is a pretty interesting unit because it's dealing, unfortunately, is dealing with what we have been dealing for a very long time. Okay? So, but before I forgot. Okay, guys, so a brief summary of what we just discussed, okay? So these are the general tips for delivering a presentation. So first, good eye contact with the audience, okay? Que no parezca que están leyendo todo el tiempo así, okay? So that means also read effectively your notes and transcript of the talk, porque yes, you may have some notes. Just be careful on not reading the notes all the time. And also, if that means also use slides clearly and effectively, porque no se trata de que lean sus slides. Acuérdense que las slides son un apoyo, pero no es para que las tengan ahí como si fuera closed caption, porque si no, para eso mejor lo leo en vez de que ustedes estén hablando, okay? You could, as I said, start with a joke. If you are good at telling jokes, you could start your presentation with a joke, okay? Remember to ask questions to the audience. Remember to signal the introduction of a new point, que la persona entienda que ustedes van a hablar de algo diferente, ¿ok? Por eso también esas frases que les puse al principio. Entonces, show enthusiasm, okay? I'm confident the festival will be a fantastic success. Signaling that you are going to introduce a new point, right? Moving on now, the following topic. Interacting with the audience. Can you give me a show of hands, please? That means that when you want people to understand, to see if people understood what you just said, okay? Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming to my talk. Starting the talk. No nada más empiecen a hablar así como, this is the presentation about a festival. No. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming to my talk. I'm going to tell you about our plans for the festival, whatever. Okay? Ending the talk, are there any questions you would like to ask me? Explaining how the talk is organized, I've divided my talk into 3 parts and relating the key points to the talk. Okay? So let me sum up. Okay? And finally, please remember that we need to think in organization of the presentation too. Esto no solamente es para el formal report, pero también para su presentación, que tenga una organización su presentación. Okay? Good. So now let's go to the following unit. Okay, so just give me a minute, please.
Teacher.
Yes.
So also the presentation we are going to make a formal report or
No.
only the presentation?
Only the presentation. Only the presentation because the writing part would be something else.
Okay, thank you.
Nada más el report. Digo, nada más, perdón, la presentation. Just give me a second, please. Okay, guys. So as I said before, the name of the unit is crime, but the name of the lesson is real crimes. Okay, so the question is actually, what is it that we consider a crime? Okay, so before actually going into the unit, well, before we start the lesson, sorry, I would like you to think about the following situations. How would you feel if someone stole your wallet? How would you feel if a family member lied to you? How would you feel if a close friend borrowed money and didn't return it? How would you feel if a friend read your diary? Okay, so we are going to start this lesson by thinking and discussing the possible answers to these questions over here. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. So if you want, please take a picture of the presentation, because I'm going to ask you guys to work in trios or in teams of 4. Let's see how many are we today. So we discuss your possible answers to these questions, okay? So how would you feel is the main question, and then you have this following circumstances. I know, sorry guys. I don't know what is that doing. So breakout rooms. We're working in teams of 4, okay? So see you in 2 or 3 minutes, that's it.
Hi.
Do we have to? I think that Jenny, I don't know if you have problems. Jennifer told me that she's having troubles with her microphone, so maybe she cannot answer. But if you want to comment something, you're just let us know. Okay. Hi Alberto, can you hear me or can you hear us? ¿O puedes hablar? Can you talk? Okay. So if you want to comment something, just write in the chat box. Okay, would you want to start, Ricardo, with the first question? Do you have the first question? ¿O alcanzaron a tomar captura?
Yes, someone stole your wallet.
Okay. Podemos comentar al libre, ¿no? O sea.
Well, the question is, how would you feel if someone stole your wallet?
Okay. Yes. Okay. I feel a kind of. It happened. It's weird and funny because it really happened to me when I was working in Cinepolis. I worked like 2 years ago, and I have this problem that I had my wallet in my work in my uniform, but I don't know, maybe it fell down, the wallet fell down, and I don't know where, but someone stole. I have there my debit card, my INE, and 200 pesos. Well, the money was the most. I didn't feel for the money. I didn't feel bad for the money because it wasn't too much. The important thing that I feel worried because I have to cancel all my credit, my debit cards, and all my. I think that I also lost the Starbucks Starbucks card, and also my INE. That my principal problem is that in Mexico, in the bank, when you cancel or cuando cancelas, no, your cards, you have to. The only way you can just like get it back or get again these cards are with your ID. So I didn't have the ID, so I fear I have to cancel, and then I have to wait. I had to make an appointment in the INE, and then like 10 days later I have that meeting. I get my INE, and I have to wait with the to get another to get the reposition of that card. So that was the problem. I have to wait almost like 3 weeks since I cancel everything. Okay. No. Ok. Si alguien quiere comentar rápido.
Well, I think I feel decepcionado. Bueno, at first, sad because maybe in my wallet I have my money and some cards.
Yes.
And yes, I think my first feeling is to be sad.
Yeah. it's sad, and I think that I feel very angry because the people is not like honest, but it's quizás en otro país como que sí, pero pues aquí no. Bueno, nos vemos.
People is coming back. Okay, so the questions are as you had were the followings. Okay, so let's see. Jenny, please. What would you do if how would you feel, sorry, if someone stole your wallet? Jenny Gobea, how would you feel? Jenny, I think your mic is off. Thank you, Jonathan. So would you please help? What would you do? Well, how would you feel, sorry, if someone stole your wallet, Jonathan, please? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you felt sad, you felt angry, and you felt disappointed. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay. So Manuel, how about you? How would you feel if a family member lied to you? Obviously, we're talking about a big lie.
Probably I would feel disappointed
Uh-huh.
because in my case, I have a lot of confidence with my family.
Uh-huh.
So if they lie to me, it means that they probably don't trust me or something like that.
Okay.
So I would feel very disappointed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Luisa Gutierrez, how about you? How would you feel if a close friend borrowed money and didn't return it?
Well, it depends on the amount because
but imagine it's a very large amount.
I know, but I'm very angry.
You would feel angry?
Sad and disappointed, yes.
Okay, good. So you would feel disappointed, you would feel angry, sad. Okay, good. Thank you. Luis Hernandez, how about you? How would you feel if a friend read your diary?
Maybe exposed.
Okay, so you would feel exposed. Anything else? Okay, guys. So as you see, we have been discussing about how certain things would make us feel. Okay, why? For some people, these may not be considered crimes, or for some people, some of these crimes are serious, or for some people, some of these are petty crimes. That means minor crimes. Okay, so you see, just give me a minute, please. I'm going to share with you my book. Okay, so I'm on your books on page. I'm on the book on page. I don't remember. I cannot see what page is it. 116. Okay, so this unit, as I said before, is about crimes. So just by looking at the picture, Esther, what do you think happened here? What kind of crime was committed here?
Crimes. I think it isn't crime serious.
You think this isn't a serious crime?
Yes.
But what kind of crime do you think was committed here?
Like writing graffiti or vandalize.
No, I'm talking about the picture. In this picture, you're looking at what kind of crime do you think happened here?
Okay, it's a glass broke and like some is broke the law, the like broke the law.
Okay. How about you, Carla? What do you think was crime? Which crime was what kind of crime do you think was committed here? Just by looking at the picture.
I think that a rob.
There was a robbery.
Yes.
It could be. Okay, so would you consider a robbery a serious crime?
I think yes.
Okay, so probably it depends on what has been robbed. Okay, so you see, there is a quote by Honor de Balzac that says, who was a French novelist, that says, "Behind every great fortune, there is a crime." Okay, so Anna, do you agree on
Yes,
this quote?
teacher.
Why? Why do you agree on this quote?
Because, for example, fortune, I think fortune is the same as a lot of money. And in this system, when you have a lot of money, sometimes you don't pay taxes or exploit your employees. So that is a crime.
Okay, so that's what we usually think when someone has a lot of money, right? De repente vemos a que tenemos un vecino que llega así en un carrazo, o que ya se compraron una casotota, o que están construyendo, y la gente normalmente, a lo mejor injustamente, pero los vecinos, ay, bueno, ¿y este que habrá robado, no? Okay, so that's what most people think when people has lots of money, okay? Probably they did something wrong, so that's why they had lots of money, okay? Good, guys. So thank you very much. So what you have here is a summary what this lesson is about. So last semester, you saw a bit on first and second conditionals. This unit is dealing with the third conditional only, okay? And modals, but if you remember the first unit, we were working with modals for present deduction. Here, we will be dealing with modals for past deduction, okay? So if you don't remember modals for present deduction, please go and check. And if you don't remember the first and second conditional, please also check your notes, okay? Porque ya ahorita vamos a imaginar que ya primer y segundo condicional ya nos lo sabemos, okay? Entonces, we will be dealing with vocabulary related to crime and collocations. We won't have time to go through the scenario part, but we will be developing summarizing in studying skills, and we are working with a cause and effect essay by the end of the unit. So this cause and effect essay is going to be your final task of this unit, but it is also going to be your final writing task. Como el último examen de final de inglés, ¿ok? Entonces va a tener dos funciones, así como el video va a tener dos funciones para la unidad 11 y para el examen final de speaking, este va a tener función de final task de la unidad 12 y el final de speaking, digo de writing, ¿ok? Entonces, here what you have is a list of crimes, ¿ok? You have writing graffiti, making personal phone calls from work. That means using your works or your office phone to make personal calls, either long distance or local calls, it doesn't really matter, but you are using your office's resources, okay? Taking small items from hotel bedrooms when you are a guest, por ejemplo, hay quienes se llevan que si el shampoo, que si no sé qué, o hay quienes que se llevan cosas más caras como una toalla o algo así. Entonces, the question is if you think it's a crime. Saying nothing when you get too much change in a supermarket, es decir, que se queda en el cambio de más. Parking in a space for disabled drivers. Driving at 20 kilometers per hour more than the speed limit on a motorway. Finding a wallet or purse containing money and not taking it to the police. Buying an essay on the internet. Making your CV or resume better by not including information or putting incorrect information. not giving all the facts when making an insurance claim. The last one, it's could be the case, for example, that someone, that you crashed your car y luego, pero no lo reportaron ni dijeron nada, pero después alguien les choca o mienten que alguien les chocó para que el seguro les cubra, por ejemplo, ¿ok? O cuando dicen que tuvieron un daño mayor del que tuvieron para que el seguro les pague. Okay? That's the crime we're talking about. Entonces, the assignment would be the following. You're going to work in groups, look at the following activities, and decide which ones are quite serious crimes, which ones are crimes but not serious ones, and which ones are not crimes at all. But you have to explain why. Por ejemplo, if you think graffiti is not a serious crime, you have to explain why. ¿Ok? Entonces, primero los van a clasificar en 3 grupos. ¿Cuáles sería quite a serious crime? Which one a crime but not which ones would be crimes but not serious ones? Which ones wouldn't be crimes at all? But you have to explain why. And also, you would have to think on other activities that you would put under these 3 groups. Es decir, ¿qué otras actividades que no están en la lista serían quite serious crimes? Which ones wouldn't be a serious crime? And which ones would be a crime but not a serious one? Okay? Entonces, problems, questions, or complaints up to here, what is that you're doing? Okay? So this is what you're doing first. Just give me a second, please. Okay, so this is what we're doing. I'm giving you 2 minutes to do this, okay? I know, sorry guys. So we're working with the same people, okay?